Hello.
Hello, Cheris. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Good. So I wanted to talk to you about One School and about the media outlet that you want to begin. So what brought you here?
Okay. Good question. So, I guess the best way to start the conversation is by saying today is the day that we launch Heart Connect Media.
Yeah.
On the International Day of Peace, and the day before the equinox.
Yeah.
And for me, specifically, this is about being really responsible for the knowledge that I have. And the knowledge that I have is that there are oodles of people around me who are living purpose-based, heart-centered lives. Yeah. And they're taking actions and making choices based on their design of their life. Like, you know, they want to support certain things. They want to connect with certain individuals. And it's my assertion today that the best way for us to create a shift is to pay attention to what heart-centered living looks like, right? So if we continue to watch mainstream media and we continue to keep our nervous systems full of fear of like this apocalypse that's been coming forever.
Yeah. And apparently again on the 23rd.
Well, exactly, right? Yeah. Like, oh, another rapture, you know? Yeah. And like, as an astrologer, I'll be honest with you, like I get these text messages, these questions all the time, like what's going on in the stars? What's going on in the stars? I've also had like a lot of conversations with people who, you know, I've worked with professionally, and they say silly things like, oh, I'm sorry, I got your invitation to like your astrology page, and, you know, I can't do it because I don't believe in that. And it's like, yeah, cool. You don't have to believe in the stars, except for that. What else is there?
Yeah.
Right. Like here we are, like in this orbit. Right. And like, does anything really make sense? Like right now, does anything really make sense? Like we have like legit, there's like a reality TV star is like the leader of the free world. Like comedy never got so good. And what's at stake is like the world, right? Like, so what I would like to draw attention to with our media, which is, you know, starting on Facebook and starting webinars and having conversations that make a difference for people, is just to say, let's just say that the prophecies are onto something. Let's just say that there is something in the sky that says, you know, we might have an opportunity to shift things now. Right. We can see, like with our own eyes, without like fed media, we can see that the air quality is low. We hear stories and we can see that there's problems obtaining clean water. We know that in our province of Alberta alone, there's like 100,000 people laid off and can't find work, or supposedly can't find work, or need to start their own gig, or I don't know what it is. Sometimes I hear there's lots of jobs in the market and people just don't want them. And then I hear they're not the jobs that people want, so they're not taking them. Like, I don't know. The economy is doing what it's doing. The earth is doing what it's doing. And I get to choose what I pay attention to.
Right.
And what I pay attention to is like women like you who are like, you know, you've got like a kombucha thing going on. You've got like a hen in your backyard, you know, you've got like a sisterhood in Didsbury, Alberta, where like you guys come together and like, you know, you have like a council, you have like, you know, a circle, a collaborative where, you know, and it begs the question, where does the real government actually live?
Yeah.
Because I've talked to some yoga instructors or yoga studio owners that teach like 4 classes of 30 women every single day.
Yeah.
Those women are going home to families. That's 120 women a day, and men and dads. I don't want to like exclude anybody here. Like they're going home, and that yoga instructor has had an impact on 120 homes in one day.
Yeah.
Like, can the MLA say that?
No.
No. So that's why I'm here. I mean, maybe I'm a rebel. Maybe I'm an avenger. Maybe I'm a mom that's tired of being fucking stressed out all the time.
Right.
And like, I'm supposed to have this career and these kids are supposed to turn out fine. And I'm supposed to outsource my parents and outsource my kids and, you know, outsource my, you know, my grocery shopping. And it's like, and then what? Like, what happens when we stop running?
Yeah.
Right? It's like, and how many things do we put ahead of what our heart really wants? And what does our heart really want? Like peace, quiet, connection, friendship.
Well, exactly. And what I hear you say is what it boils down to is the mother heart and a sense of community.
100%.
And bringing it in, even if we have to use the internet to do it, we bring community back to its very basics where the government can't be. It's impossible for it to be there.
Right.
So what we have really experienced in the last little while is all these moms who don't have a sense of community and who don't have that circle of friends and who just feel completely lost.
Totally.
And I really feel like that's your push, is to bring people back together again.
100%. It's totally the moms, right? The moms are like holding together the home for the food in the home. And like, don't get me wrong here. Like, I don't want to be like politically incorrect and exclude the dads that are in charge of the lunches and the dinners because, you know, perfect.
Yeah.
Right? And I also want to include like the aunties and the grandmothers that are also raising kids. And also, you know, and what it is to say is like, if we got really simple about stuff, what's a real victory? Like, if you were going to choose us as a news outlet,
right? Like,
you know, in the days to come, you see that we've got programs where we're having conversations that have to do with like, you know, mothers, communities, families, you know, people contributing, building community gardens, building earth ships, building tiny houses, you know, saying their piece, singing, writing poems. Like, it's like these small things I think that we'll see as we like get further into this inquiry is that I think that we'll see that there's an agenda in place where fear is helpful for somebody's agenda. And we don't want to point any fingers. However, if you turn into Heart Connect media every day and listen to a conversation about a person in your community who's lifting people up, who's making connections, building bridges, you know, eating sustainably, walking sustainably on the earth, you know, and it's not just in our, like, our footprint as much as it's in our language. Yeah. Like, I think what the scary thing is for people isn't that we're powerless, is actually that we hold all the power. Right. You know?
Yeah. And in that, I think a lot of people, knowing that they hold the power, don't really want to take the responsibility because it seems so massive.
Well, not alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you know, I wouldn't be doing this without you and without Alicia and without Stefan, you know, like there's like a bunch of us that just want to like get out there and be like, yo, we're your 5 o'clock news. Guess what we did today? We did like some body work and we did some like, you know, conversations. We did like, you know, we followed our hearts. We like put things together. We like, you know, hung out with our kids. Like, what is news?
Yeah. Right? News should be applicable to your own life. You should be able to watch something and feel inspired and feel able to actually do this yourself. Totally. And to feel connected to other people who you could possibly even reach out to and say, hey, I feel ya. I would love to be a part of this. How can I do my part? Where do I start? And I know your huge thing is this is where you start.
Yes. Yeah, and that's why One School, right? So like we can be the media and say, let's have heart-centered conversations. Let's get together in real life. Like this media is focusing on Alberta and BC, Canada. Yeah. That is who we are targeting. Okay. Like these are local people that you'll meet at a retreat. These are people that are like, you know, starting community gardens and starting retreat centers and banding together and saying like, look, this lifestyle isn't sustainable for me. Right. 40 hours a week for me and my partner, and the kids are in daycare, and there's hockey on the weekends, and I still have to get the groceries and the library books.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Right? And then it's like karate and this and that. And it's like, you know, what sucks is that, you know, we lose the conversations with our children because we're eating in the vehicle so that we can get to the next thing,
Yeah.
you know? And the big thing about this media that I want to really point out is, if it's got to do with separation, it's not on our station.
Yeah.
So the answer is to come together, not in like a weird, like one world government kind of thing, more in like, okay, who's really out there that's pushing for good?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I would say having like hens and gardens and preserves, and like, you're heading in the right direction here, I would say.
Well,
right?
I'm pulling people alongside you going, hey, you can do this too. Because I think a lot of people feel that it's very much outside of themselves, that they can't do it. They watch other people do it and go, oh, that's great. You know, so-and-so can do it. But I think a lot of what we want to do is say, no, you can do it too. And this is how. And by being a part of the community, being part of the media, we can actually include everyone. It's true inclusion.
True.
Yeah.
And it's not like weird consciousness, like mystical stuff. It's like,
it's practical.
Like, you are voting with your time, energy, money, dollars, and mojo. Like, if you're like focused on like this one corporation for 8 hours a day, it takes you an hour to get there, an hour to get home, and then you have a family, and then it's like, this is a breeding ground for addiction, which, I mean, is here.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, our hearts together is all that needs to happen, even if it's just like a small part of the country where, you know, there's 10,000 people on a Facebook page that are tuning into something that is of the heart.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I loved this, so I did it. Right?
Yeah.
Or I love these people, or I love this practice, or guess what? I'm healing.
Yeah.
Like, how often do you actually get blessed by a story where somebody's actually healing or healed?
Yeah.
Like, healing trauma. Like, what if we did that together? What if the only thing that we need to do is come together and not be so separate in our homes, separate in our businesses, with separate marketing plans and separate social media accounts. And, you know, it's like, well, I'm going here and you're going there. It's like, every single business owner I've talked to is enslaved.
Yeah.
By the tax code, enslaved by being an employer, enslaved by, you know, accelerated increases in rent and utilities. And it's like, what's the point of being in business for yourself if you're going to be like completely stressed out to the nines, like wired on coffee and who knows what else in order to like make the day? And then a business is kind of like a snowball, right? It's like, you've had a baby and you need to keep it alive, right? Until, you know, such time as it like heads off to college. Like, you know, it's like, things can be really basic, right? Like, we only need so many things. Like, I'm somebody that says there's 80% of the stuff in your house you don't need.
Yeah.
Like, I guarantee you, right? So it's like, what would it take for us to have a real conversation on the stuff that matters, and not on like having to look a certain way, or having to be right about something, or having to have like a political opinion. And like, I have a political opinion. It's not good for anything unless my feet are moving.
Yeah. And present day media is basically based on fear and consumption. 100%. And we want to do the exact opposite. We don't want you to be afraid. We want you to actually have practical resources, practical community, real life situations.
Yes. And
the means to follow through.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, hi Clayton. So tomorrow we are going to celebrate equinox. We don't know what that's going to look like. We'll post another video. If we figure out the little jigger, we'll go like live on Facebook as well. And we'll just officially launch this media station. So with Connect Media, you know, I'm going to tag myself, you know, let's be friends. You know, I'm going to tag you. I'd like, you know, you to like, you know, embrace the community, and we are Heart Connect Media. That's what we're up to. And maybe I'll leave conversations about the one school like for tomorrow, and just say like, okay, so from Heart Centered Media, like where do I go, right? Like what do I do? And then that's an exciting time to start talking about, you know, opportunities for online training, for gatherings, for like being part of community initiatives around BC and Alberta, being part of retreats, and you know,
or just being whole.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like we're like, I have a belief that everyone is whole and we are whole together. It's just that our experience isn't that. Our experience is fragmentation and stress response and broken relationships and, you know, all kinds of things. You know, there's a lot at stake inside of this conversation, especially on Peace Day. I have a feeling that true peace will be created when we align with our hearts, when we align with our purpose, we are in partnerships that feed and accelerate our work.
Yes.
And we're complete with our parents and are in support of them as like elders and wisdom keepers. When our children can like walk out the door and like pick an apple off the tree without risk of being poisoned or kidnapped. And
or beaten.
Well, yeah, who send them to school. And then, you know, communities that make a difference. Like what is a community without corporate influence? Right?
What does that even look like? Yeah.
What does that even look like? And that can be our mission. What does a community look like that isn't driven by corporate interests? And there's no lobbying. There's no advertising. There's just us talking real talk. We'll connect you. I mean, there's lots of stuff to buy. You can buy courses, you can buy sessions, you can buy products from us and through the people that we're going to connect you to. It's just that there's no, like, the only agenda here at Heart Connect Media is to literally connect your hearts.
Yeah.
Right? To literally connect our hearts. And our selfish motive is that we want our kids growing up in a world that works. And for me, you know, it doesn't work every day.
No. No.
It doesn't work sometime every day. So our big request is, my big request would be like, share this page, share the news of our like heartfelt media source. It's a clean media source. It's an integral media source. We'll share more about who we are in the communities and the work that we've done. And you know, the proof is in the pudding. You can check out the cool stuff we've done. So
well, thank you very much for taking a few minutes and chatting.
Yes, let's do this, girlfriend.
Let's do it.
Okay, I love you and I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, Tracy.